What is poppin' fight fans? As you can see, super excited from this past weekend and this week. Welcome to the MMA Hour on MMA Island. I am Mystic Black Darnell Giovanni. That right there is the boy, Nick Marcus in the house. What up, Nick?
Chilling, man. Waiting for this cold front to come in. It's too hot down here.
It's way too hot. We all right? The cold front we just had is one away real fast. But somebody who's cold for sure up there in Pennsylvania, my boy, the Fight Dialogue, Aldrick Warner in the house. What up, us?
What up, man? Thank you guys for having me on your show. I appreciate you guys. Got the dopest content. And yes, it's cold as hell up here. I shovel snow. Not fun.
We just shovel sand.
Snow, what's that?
The bad people that come into this city, but whatever. No snow here. But anyways, we had some really good we have a lot to talk about today. So much to talk about from last weekend and this weekend coming up. This is gonna be a jam-packed show. Hope you guys are ready. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, guys, off the bat, did we just witness the best card of the year? Nick, I'll start with you.
I wouldn't say best. Definitely up there, but for me, the best card of the year so far has been 249 for me. But this one was incredible as well. I mean, extremely entertaining. It kind of worked out, I suppose. That I mean, I was worried, you know, when Peter Yan and Aljamain got canned. I was kind of worried if this would be diluted, but it wasn't at all.
Aldrick, is this more of a what have you done for me lately kind of thing, recency bias with this card, or was it the card of the year?
I'd say what have you done for me lately? It was one of these cards, like it was sneaky good, but he was like, but it was a pretty damn good card. For me, my favorite card is between 249 and 251, so that's mine. But this card was pretty damn good. It lived up to, in a way, it exceeded the expectations that people set for it. So it was like, and it produced great fights, a lot of finishes. Yeah.
And people were saying that this fight was maybe the fight of the year. I don't know. I still feel like the Weili Zhang and Joanna Jędrzejczyk is up there for me. No matter what gender, doesn't matter. I think that's one of the fight of the year. But my God, what a 5-round war between Moreno and Figueiredo. Woo! That was crazy. Aldrick, why do you think Figueiredo didn't look as dominant as he usually did? Or did he look dominant to you?
Due to the circumstances of what happened the night before with his when he had to go to the hospital, whether it was food poisoning or due to the bad weight cut, I say that he still looked good. We got to see more than his skills. He's used to finishing in the earlier rounds, but the fact that it went 5 rounds and what he had to face and still look as good as he did. I mean, of course, this fight, I wasn't expecting a first round finish. I was expecting a finish, but not in the first round. Did I expect it to go all 5 rounds? Absolutely not. Not at all. This fight would live up to it exceeded the hype, you know, because this division was on the verge of getting cut. And since Figueiredo became champion, and then the flyweights itself just been booming, you know, they just did the damn thing. And the blows these men exchanged, they went through. I can't wait for part 2. That's all I got to say. Can't wait for part 2.
Nick, does Brandon Moreno deserve a rematch? I know it was a draw, but basically it was a draw because Figueiredo lost a point for that nut shot. You think Brandon Moreno deserves another shot?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's the only guy that I know of that has allowed to, or that has lasted that long in the octagon with Deiveson Figueiredo. I think that I thought that Deiveson Figueiredo was going to finish him within the third or within the second or third round. So the fact that he lasted all that, and not only that, but he looked very impressive. I mean, in the 4th round, Figueiredo looked shook. He really did, especially with the amount of headshots that he took from Moreno. Moreno really came into this prepared. I mean, I don't know if this has to do with the fact that these guys had just fought 21 days before, and maybe, you know, obviously they just kind of extended their conditioning and their training and all that. But yeah, absolutely, he deserves it. I mean, because I just don't feel, I can't think of a name in that division that deserves it more than he does right now.
Yeah, and people would probably say Cody Garbrandt deserves that title, but Cody Garbrandt has never fought in the flyweight division.
Right, but
yet,
exactly, he's not. Yeah. It's not really his realm. So, you know, like, I think to bring somebody from the outside to replace him after a performance like that, I just don't think that'd be right. Maybe after.
If anything, Cody Garbrandt's the biggest loser from this fight because they're going to rematch. He probably has to wait longer. And Lord knows if he wants to cut down to 125 if it's not for a title. So I hope he takes maybe another fight at 135 or something like that. But his health is more important, so I hope he gets healthy as well. But one big thing I took out of that main event was Joe Rogan's commentating. I don't know if you guys were listening to Joe Rogan as he was speaking, but he just kept saying more what Moreno was doing and not what Figueiredo was doing. We're going to call him Figgy Smalls. What Figgy Smalls is doing. Nick, did you notice anything that Joe Rogan was saying specifically as the fight was going?
Not necessarily. I mean, sometimes I'm kind of distracted between these fights. I don't really hear the commentating unless it's like a yell or something like that. Sometimes I'm too fixated on the what do you call it? On the actual fight itself, or like between rounds, I'm checking Twitter, seeing what everybody's opinion is. So I didn't really catch on to that. But I mean, I always kind of appreciate Joe Rogan's comments.
Aldrich, do you think Joe Rogan maybe needs to commentate more fights, or maybe he's not watching enough fights right now because not his style has changed, but just his commentary has changed big time?
I did listen to Joe's thing, and granted, I love Joe as a commentator. You know, it's been a minute since he's done one because they've been over in Fight Island and stuff. But yeah, I did hear some biasness in it. I mean, Joe, he's one of my favorite people, but I call what it is. He was a little bit more biased because throughout the course of the fight, you kept hearing about Moreno this, Moreno that. Moreno's like, Moreno did his damn thing, don't get it twisted, but you were convinced now it's like he was winning every round. But Figueiredo still was hanging in there, and he was throwing his pressure. He was throwing some blows. Like, you heard the pop on these damn punches. Figueiredo was doing damage as well, too. So was this a little bit more of a biasness when it came to commentating? Yes, it was. So
yeah, and another thing as well, I thought Deiveson would get like tired in a fifth or fourth round. He didn't really look winded. He was throwing heat still in the fifth round. And in the fifth round, I think that he won because Moreno injured his shoulder or whatever he was, and he wasn't really throwing.
Forearm.
But yeah, it's forearm. My bad, forearm. But Fig looked like he was still can go maybe another 1 or 2 rounds until the fight was over. Then he was exhausted. As you can see, they took him to the hospital, and he didn't make it to the post-fight press conference. But after a fight like that, I don't blame him. I'd love to see the part 2. I think it's going to be even better than the part 1, unless Figgy Smalls comes with some crazy heat in the first round and just completely destroys Moreno. But I don't see that happening because Moreno is a guy that's hard to finish. He got that Mexicano power in him, and you know how they are, man. They're just super difficult to finish. But speaking of almost finished, my Lord, Tony Ferguson was so close to getting finished in that first round. Charles Oliveira, Du Bronx, and it has nothing to do with the Bronx, New York, which I used to think when it was Du Bronx. Like, is this guy from the Bronx or something like that? What a nickname. But no, it has nothing to do with the Bronx. But he fought as hard as somebody from the Bronx. My God. Nick, Charles Oliveira, you picked him. You had him on there. Were you surprised by his performance, his domination?
No, I wasn't. That's exactly why I picked him. And as a matter of fact, I'm glad that I was able to finish the year off with a perfect 5-0 pick for the main card. I mean, technically, Figueiredo didn't win, but he still
won. That's a draw.
Well, I don't know. He still got to keep his belt, so I'm going to take it as a win. But no, yeah, I picked Oliveira for that reason because I just feel that this is a guy that he's coming for the top. I think he's going to be, fighting one of these top 3 guys for his next fight. And Ferguson, after Gaethje, he just didn't look right, And then I don't know what his whole team situation is. Maybe he needs to work on that. Maybe it's more himself that he needs to work on. But Gaethje, I don't know if he just literally beat it out of him and he doesn't have anything left anymore.
Aldrich,
I wouldn't say any more completely, but yeah, still a good beating.
Aldrich, is Oliveira ready for that top 3 competition up there?
Almost definitely. He proved it, since I had stated last night as well. He came up from 145. We had an up and down career, and he had a lot of issues facing the top guys. Moved to 155. He should have made this early in his career, and he's on a tear. And the way he dismantled Tony Ferguson, like there was no tomorrow, like he was all him, like white on rice. And the top 3, this is a guy no one wanted to call out. You kept hearing about the Dan Hookers, the McGregors, other people. But I'm sitting here and we all thinking like, y'all thinking about Charles Oliveira. Like, this man is a problem. And the way he went on and made a statement is like, you guys can't avoid me anymore. Like, you have to fight me now. And he's a threat to anybody in this division. He's a threat to Gaethje, McGregor, Poirier, even freaking Michael Chandler, who hasn't even fought yet. Like Oliveira is ready for this top 3. I wouldn't be surprised within like early next year he's fighting for the title, whether it's vacant or he's going to challenge Khabib. And like I say this, and people could quote me on this, I feel like he can give Khabib some problems and possibly submit him.
Yeah, especially from the bottom. And that's something I used to think that Tony Ferguson would have an advantage over Khabib because he's very active on the bottom. But now I'm thinking about it. The guys who are on top of him weren't as good as Khabib. And look at Charles Oliveira on top of him. And Charles is usually a guy that gets his submissions from the bottom, if I'm correct, from triangles to guillotines. He usually can work from the bottom. But he was working from the top there, picking Tony up, putting him on the ground. And Charles Oliveira is not known as the strongest guy. You know Khabib is very strong and very top heavy. So I feel like Khabib at this point would dominate Tony. And it's not a fight I want to see anymore, which is crazy because, man, that was scheduled 6 times. Everybody was excited for it, but that dream is kind of out of the window. But one thing I noticed is Tony Ferguson had no head coach. He talked about that before. He's running his own camp. He fired his nutritionist. He's doing all these things by himself. Aldrich, does he need a head coach?
Yes, he does. I was actually shocked not to see Eddie Bravo in this camp.
Very weird.
It was very weird, especially that you're going against a very dominant jiu-jitsu player, a highest of the high top tier black belt. Tony definitely needs a head coach. I mean, I get the whole entire thing, how the game is changing. A lot of fighters are not really like involved in the gym or doing like a lot of self stuff and bringing in their own training partners. But Tony definitely needs a head coach. I feel like he does need that structure, especially his past 2 performance. You know, ever since that Gaethje fight, you know, Tony, he hasn't looked the same. And even prior to that, it's like, all right, man, you need a coach. You need someone that's going to be on the same level, help structure you if you want to get back in the conversation of competing for the title, because these back-to-back losses and the way you were dominated, it's not a good look on your resume at all.
And so one thing that I noticed as well with Tony is just his energy was different. You know, when they're saying his name and they're calling him and all of a sudden he's doing the thing with his hands, walking back and forth, he wasn't doing any of that. It's just like, that's very weird. Why is he not that pumped up Tony Ferguson as from before, just like very into the fight and just like about to go in there calling it my mat and stuff like that? He didn't do any of that. Nick, you think there's something mental maybe going on from his fight when he lost to Justin Gaethje?
Absolutely, because it wasn't just his fight, his loss to Justin Gaethje. I think he knew that if he didn't get a win here, that he was going to sort of slide down that scale of already a stacked division, and that he wasn't going to be getting the biggest opportunities. I'm sure he'll still get some good opportunities. I'm sure he's going to fight some of those guys because, like I said, it's a stacked division. But I mean, I think it's pretty much over for him as far as any title ambitions or anything like that. We don't know exactly if Khabib is really retired or not. We got to see what happens with McGregor and Poirier now. We still got to see Chandler fight. So who knows? Maybe it's not too late for him, but I felt like maybe that's what his thought process is. And I think that the majority of us could probably agree that this was his last opportunity. And I guess the pressure was just insurmountable.
Yeah, especially with his age. He's 37 now, and he's not getting any younger. Father Time is undefeated. Unless he changes his style in some capacity from taking that much damage, and he's got to do something different. I know he didn't take too much damage, like striking-wise, but his arm for sure some ligaments have to be broken there. Aldrich, you saw that. How did he not tap? Like, how in the world, if somebody's doing that to you, are you tapping or are you taking that damage?
I'm immediately tapping. If it's tight as hell like that, especially the way he had it looped under his arm, I'm tapping because the amount of pressure you're feeling on that. The only way I could see someone surviving that for like a certain period of time, the level of flexibility in your arms. Some people are very flexible to a T where, you have to angle it a certain way. Tony Ferguson has flexibility, but the way how Oliveira locked and how tight it was like 3 seconds from breaking. It had a couple more seconds on the clock. Like, it legit was going to break. I'm watching. I'm like, first of all, the arm bar is beautiful. And second, I'm like, this man needs to tap. Like, tap.
And he was
That's the first thing.
You can hear him just like, And I'm like, oh my God, just tap, man. It's okay. Like,
the first thing in jiu-jitsu, they tell you, tap.
Yeah.
Tap.
That's right. Don't try to be Mr. like, oh my God.
Don't be a hero.
Don't be a hero. When people gave McGregor shit for tapping to Nate Diaz, bro, he was in a deep rear naked choke. Like, you don't want to go out. That's scary, man. So I feel like Tony should have tapped. But speaking of jiu-jitsu, Mackenzie Dern looked very impressive in her well, I don't know. This was her third fight this year. She took 3 fights this year, which is good on her against Verna Janaroba, who's a former Invicta strawweight champion, not strawweight, yeah, strawweight champion. Mackenzie looked good on the feet. Is that Jason Perillo giving her that good striking there? Is it coming together, Aldrich?
Oh yes, for sure. Mackenzie, we know that she's a world class grappler, a black belt, jiu-jitsu world champion, and her opponent as well too. You can see over the years, besides she's been disciplined with the weight, making weight, and also you've seen her striking evolving. So she's not relying heavily to go to the ground. So you see that working with Jason Perillo, leaving her old gym, like the striking has improved, and Jason Perillo is a great coach. So shout out to him. She had an extended performance. Not surprised that this fight stood on the feet. Like I said, both women are very, very well rounded on the ground, so we know what they're capable of. So kudos to her, and can't wait to see her continue to transcend this division.
Nick, is this the way that the UFC should bring up somebody like Mackenzie Dern, kind of a little bit slower, not giving her somebody quick in the top 3 or top 4 of that division?
Yeah, I think that's the right way to go about it, because I feel that you can obviously getting somebody that's way more experienced or just way higher on the talent level. Obviously, it could be detrimental to the career because she can get hurt, and if she doesn't get hurt physically, psychologically, it could take a toll too. Kind of like we were talking about Tony Ferguson. Maybe that's what happened with him last time. So I think it's nice that they're sort of taking baby steps. I want to say baby steps because she's had some good competition, but they're definitely going a slower route rather than just, catapulting her to the top of the division.
Yeah, and it was good to see her get in there, get nasty. She got her nose broken. Like, she's getting in there, she's getting dirty. And some people try to avoid all those things. But, I mean, I get it. If you want to avoid it as much as possible. But if it happens, that gives you good experience, and you're not scared to strike. And it shows that she's not afraid to strike. Because a lot of jiu-jitsu people have come into the UFC and like, you know what? I'm just going to try to grapple as much as possible. She doesn't do that. She's down to stand up. She's down to throw. And I'd love to see that from Mackenzie Dern. I feel like next year she's going to have a very big year, fight somebody a little bit higher ranked, which they can do. Maybe, somebody 7 or 8, maybe like who's up there in 70? I would have to look at maybe a Tisha Torres.
Well,
I think Tisha Torres.
I was going to say that was my pick for her. I'd like to see her fight Tisha Torres, especially after Tisha just won as well. I'd like to see them because I think they're pretty close in the rankings.
Yeah, I think Tisha Torres is like 8 or something like that, and Mackenzie moved up a little bit. But it would be a perfect test for Mackenzie and a good test for Tisha to see where she is in her career. Speaking of jiu-jitsu, my lord, smack man jiu-jitsu came into play on Saturday. Kevin Holland, from his knees, knocked out Jacare in the first round pretty fast. My lord, Nick, Kevin, I'm not even going to ask you a question. How did you feel seeing that? I did ask you a question.
Right. Fighter of the year, right? He has to be fighter of the year.
Not to everybody, apparently.
He took not to everybody. I mean, but you got to consider. I mean, he's taken 5 fights this year. He's won all of them convincingly. I mean, how do you not see him as fighter of the year? It's a lot of demand. It's really impressive what he's been able to accomplish, especially in the year that we've had. That it's been extremely weird. You've had to take different precautions. You've had to go through a whole, emotional and psychological testing going into every week because it's no longer just worrying about your opponent. It's also going through all the protocols and training in different ways that you would usually train in. So, I mean, this guy's legit, Kevin. He's definitely going to be climbing up, and eyes are going to be all over him next year too.
So, Aldrich, Jacare, what is going on with Jacare? Is it his older age? Is he just not in it anymore? Like, what's going on with Jacare? Because this guy used to be so dominant from Strikeforce, his early days in the UFC, and recently he just kind of lost.
I feel like he just lost that edge, man. After it all started when he lost to Jack Hermanson, the way he got dominated. Because you remember, Jacare was on the rise, running through 185, putting his name, especially that big knockout against Chris Weidman to contend for the title. And ever since he got dominated by Hermanson, he's lost that groove. He went up to a 205, lost to Blachowicz. Then, I guess everything that happened this year, getting COVID, one of the first many fighters to to get COVID. And then it's like, I think age as well too. And I feel like he's lost his touch, and he has sustained a lot of damage as well. So I don't know, man. I don't know if he continues from here or he decides to hang up the gloves, but Jacare, I feel like he lost his touch. I'm curious to see if he's gonna be one of the 60 people that gets cut from this roster. So I mean, it's lots playing into this.
Very true. I didn't think about that because UFC are making a lot of cuts. They have over 600 fighters right now on their roster. Jacare is a guy, Strikeforce champion. UFC almost was a champion, and I think this is just showing you that these guys, these younger guys, and I've been saying this for a while, man, they are learning so much faster than from back in the day because of just the level of training that they can get in this day and age. It is unbelievable. Shows you a guy like Jacare who said dominate you from the top. Like if Jacare has you on the ground, it's a wrap. Not anymore, apparently, because you don't even Kevin Holland, even though he threw a guillotine at Jacare and he threw up the triangle as well. Man, for him to not even have to, for him to just knock him out from his knees, like that's a way that people can, kind of go against jiu-jitsu is unbelievable. You would never think that can happen in this day and age, but hey, everything is possible. So you never know. But Jacare, I don't think he has anything left to prove. I will never tell a fighter to retire, but maybe a Bellator might be better for him. Bellator's I don't know actually. 185 in Bellator is pretty tough with the Musasis and I don't know if what's my guy's name who fought Musasi recently. I don't know if he's going to stay up there. Douglas Lima. I don't know if he's going to stay at 185, but they got a pretty solid group over there. So maybe he can go to Bellator, but the UFC middleweights are just way too high caliber for him. I don't want to see him get hit anymore. So let's pass that. But is Kevin Holland the fighter of the year? Nick, do you think he's a fighter? You said yes, but I don't know if that's what you believe. It could be somebody else.
No, I believe it too. Like I said, just because of everything he's accomplished. I mean, is there anybody else that fought 5 times this year in a year of a pandemic and so many delays? Is there somebody who has fought 5 times this year that has won all of their fights convincingly? I mean, I just feel that there's really, I'd be hard pressed to think of anybody else. I mean, yeah, we've had some great performances and we've had people who have done well, but I just think the absolute relentlessness that Kevin has shown this year, it's enough to convince everybody, or at least should be enough, in my opinion.
Aldrich Davidson kind of went 4-0. Is he fighter of the year, or are you riding with Kevin Holland?
I'm going with the Trailblazers as well too. I mean, I get it. Davidson's in there because all his fights were title fights, excluding the first one because he missed weight. But of course, they were all for title contentions. So a lot of people are going to say, he should get it because he title fights. I get that. But Kevin Holland, like you said, 7 months fighting, multiple times he made weight. He had a last minute opponent change every time. Even with Trevin Giles, made it to fight day. Trevin Giles passed out and everything like that. So the way he persevered through everything, and also had a main event spot against Jack Hermanson, had to pull out because of COVID, and then the way that you just dominate, like you just KO'd Jacare Souza off your back. It made a statement like, hey, this guy is like is trending. He reminds me of the year Masvidal had last year. I'll compare it to that. So, and then, he's making his way through a very high caliber 185 division. That's very exciting. So, I mean, Kevin Holland deserves fight of the year, hands down.
Definitely, me. I'm a big Kevin Holland fan. I think he deserves fight of the year, but I know a guy that does not think that Kevin Holland is the fighter of the year. He's got some other things on his mind. This man right here, Sergio, in the house. I know you don't think that Kevin Holland is fighter of the year, but that's okay. The man, my podcast in the house. Welcome, Sergio Vicente. What's up, boss?
Gentlemen, thank you so much for having me today, man. I really appreciate it. And no, hell no, Kevin Holland is not the fighter of the year. I'm sorry. Here's the thing: he is Mr. Number 2 right now, though. He's number 2 in my book. But I mean, it's about level of competition. It's a level of competition, and at the end of the day, yes, he fought hella times this year, but he fought some dude about 2 weeks ago with some curly blonde hair who was ass. That should not count. Okay, I'm sorry. We have these type of guys. When you have those guys on your resume, dude, and when Figueiredo, I mean, look, are we saying Joseph Benavidez, Joey B, isn't a legend? Are we forgetting about the 2 times he dusted Joey B? I mean, I love Joey B. Come on, Mr. Dapper Scrapper himself. I love that dude. He got dusted twice. You know what I'm saying? I think you have to give it to Figueiredo at this point in time. And then he was hospitalized like right before the fight. It's amazing. Dude is amazing. Dude is amazing.
You just can't make that weight, but that's my personal opinion. But
He made it.
I'm gonna talk about my fight of the year more next week when we do a little bit of an award show. I got a really good speech I'm gonna give about the fight of the year. But man, this was one thing that hurt me to see.
Ooh.
Junior Dos Santos again, fourth straight loss. Not pretty at all. It's not like he's getting decision. Not like he's getting out wrestled. He's just getting completely TKO'd or KO'd. Nick, Junior Dos Santos, what's next for him?
Not UFC, that's for sure. I think he's going to be part of those that Aldrich had mentioned before. The 60 people that are going to, reportedly going to be released by UFC. I just feel that it's not, even if you want to prove out there that you still got it in you and that you can still perform. I mean, I don't think Dana or anybody in the UFC wants to continue seeing that. We kind of talked about like that with Anderson Silva. It's like, how many times are you just going to get in here and get absolutely massacred? It's not good for you. It's not good for your career. And most importantly, it's not good for your health.
Serge, is there anything that Junior Dos Santos is like not doing in his camp, or is he just past his prime pretty much?
Ah, man. And I hate to say this because, I mean, I think all of us can agree that JDS is a legend. I think not only is he a legend, I think he's one of those guys that we all of us, there's a piece of us that really love JDS, but that other piece really understands that he's just past his prime. The wars that he had with Cain Velasquez took something from him. Those knockout losses that he's had, consistently now, I mean, he's been at the top of the top for so long. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I mean, there's a lot of tread gone on that tire, man. It's just he's long in the tooth now. He's been in a lot of wars. He's a legend, but it's just his time, unfortunately.
Aldrich, is it Bellator next for Junior Santos, or is it retirement?
Oh man, seeing how Junior is, he's still gonna continue to fight. One thing I realized about Brazilians, they hard-headed, so they like to keep going in a way to a certain degree. They know, they just like, I still got a little fight in me, but I feel like he does go to another organization, possibly a Bellator, maybe a one championship. Those two organizations could be appealing to him. I don't know. I think he'd probably do good in one championship, but I wouldn't be surprised to go to Bellator.
Yeah, I don't think Junior Dos Santos has anything left to prove. He's made plenty of money. If you ever look at the list, Junior Dos Santos is about like number 10 on the most money made in UFC history. He's had a lot of main event fights. He's a heavyweight. He was popular, very, very popular at one time. He had a Nike deal at one time. He's done amazing things in his career. He's got nothing left to prove. He's got 2 kids. He doesn't need to take any more damage. I hope he gets into some kind of maybe broadcasting role with like the UFC for Brazil. He's a very fun guy. He's entertaining. He's happy. He's always like in the UFC embedded. He was singing Christmas songs. Like, what a sweet guy.
He seems like one of the good guys in the sport. He's always been known as that. Yeah. It's really cool to see, but it's like, so it hurts when you see those guys go out like they've been like he's kind of going out. It's just like, damn. Like if Kobe was the one like going out and getting knocked out, you'd be like, "Good riddance, motherfucker." But with JDS, he's like such a good guy. You're just like, I hate to see you go out like this.
It hurts your soul. But that strike, do you guys think that it was illegal, or he was just walking away and it just happened to hurt him there? Anybody can take this fight.
Hey, dude, it's a fight. Fisticuffs are going. We act like JDS hasn't caught somebody in the back of the head before. You know what I mean? Like, it's part of the game. He was getting KO'd with that shot regardless. He was already hurt. He was staggering around. That shot didn't make or break that fight. I mean, he was going to lose. It is what it is.
Anybody else want to chime in on that?
What's the name? When I initially saw it, I was like, nah, it wasn't to the back of the head. Of course, fast replay. But I remember seeing it live. Like when he did it, it was angled. Like it hit the ear. Like that's what threw him off guard. So when they did the slow-mo, I was like, it's behind the ear. It looks like it's about to hit the head, but the way you angle it, because I know certain fighters, when they throw elbows, they angle their elbows a certain way to hit the impact of it.
Mm-hmm. Oof, that was
I don't think it was a direct hit to the back of the head. I think with the way that Dos Santos was already sort of like, stumbling over, I think it's because of the movement from Dos Santos that it looked like it was a direct hit, but I don't think it was an illegal hit. And like Serge said, this isn't pillow fighting. This is the real deal. Things like that are going to happen all the time.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't intentional. It's not like he bopped my man's in the back of the head. It was in a combination, and that's what happened. When you turn your head, you might get hit in the back of the head. You shouldn't turn your head.
Yeah.
Nope. Well, guys, let's make the UFC have a little easier time making some matches as they come up for the next year. I'll ask each of you for a matchmaking to see what next for this person. Nick, Kevin Holland, who does he fight next?
All right, Kevin Holland. I'd like to see him fight Hermanson next. I mean, they were supposed to fight anyways, and Hermanson coming off that loss against what's his name, Vittori. I think that we should get this fight back. Run it back, Hermanson. I don't think he was necessarily like on the decline just because of that loss. I think he's still got it in him, and then obviously Holland is just continuing to skyrocket. So it'd be good, and it's a name that Serge wouldn't be too upset with him fighting. That he can actually fight somebody that has some recognition. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, hey, Jacare has recognition. But I'm just saying in terms of the fighter.
But Jacare now or Jacare back
then? He's still a name. You know what I mean? He's still a name. And Jacare, you're just not gonna roll through Jacare. You know what I mean? I respect him that much that I don't care if he was 50 years old. I'm just saying, like, Jacare, he's big, he's strong, he can squeeze a boog out of your nose. Like, the dude's nasty.
Third, Cyril Gane. What is next for him in the heavyweight division?
Oh, man. I think this kid is so good, man. When you think about the heavyweight division, I mean, you can go a couple different ways. You can sit there and, if you want to say, fuck it, let's jump to the top. I mean, how fun of a fight would be him versus Derek Lewis? How fun would that fight be?
Yes, that was a big conversation.
I mean? Yeah, like for me, that's the way I'd probably go with it. If you want to see him go against another prospect of some sort, maybe, I mean, a really fun fight would be him and Tai Tuivasa. That would be a really fun fight. But I don't know if it would make sense at this point in time, especially in his trajectory. So, Derek Lewis, yeah, why not? That'd be fun.
Or I got one, Jerizo Rosenstruik. I can never say his name right.
Yeah, Jardinho
Rosenstruik. That would be some heavy hands right there.
Oh, that would be an amazing fight.
I got one for you. Cub Swanson. What is next for him? He had an amazing knockout over Daniel Pineda.
Cub Swanson. He definitely was at the top of the heap of that 145 division. What? I mean, the scales have turned because we had a new champion and everything like that. If I had to choose who's 145 that stands out, 145 stacked.
So stacked.
Super stacked.
Yo, from 135 to 170 is nasty right now.
Murderous.
Yeah. It's like it's a lot of people. Let's see if I can pull something up right quick. I can't think of.
No, go ahead. We got time.
I can say if 145. See here, athletes, featherweights. Hold on, we're gonna go to the book right here.
I mean, your featherweights right now. Your top 10 is Sadiq Youssef. We have Arnold Allen, Jeremy Stevens, Josh Emmett, Kelvin Cater, Korean Zombie, Yair, Zabit, Ortega, Max, and the champ.
Well, he's not getting anybody in the top 5. Cater is busy with Max early next year. I could see either him, Josh Emmett, or Arnold Allen.
I like those. The Josh Emmett.
His ass.
I think Cub versus any one of those upcoming guys. A lot of the guys in 145 are upcoming, so and they like to give Cub those kind of matchups. So I think that'd be pretty good. Any one of those guys in the top 10 would be perfect. And Cub has the name enough to just jump in there. I know he's not ranked, but like you can jump him in there and put him against any one of those guys. That would be great. But this weekend, we got a loaded card this weekend. Hopefully we're not. I know we lost one or two fights already. It was originally a 16 fight card. I think it's down to 14 now. Might be 13. Hopefully, I feel like they're stacking these cards just in case they lose fights. But my God, what a card we got on Saturday. The main event being Geoff Neal against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. This is going to be definitely to see where Geoff Neal is at and Stephen Thompson, if he still got it in that top, echelon of the welterweight division. Aldrich, Geoff just came off congestive heart failure. Should he have, worries being in there or cutting weight? Because that's a scary thing to go through.
Oh man, when we first heard about that, because he's supposed to fight early in the year against Neil Magny, when that happened, it was scary. It's like, it scared the hell out of him. Like, I almost died. I wasn't even thinking about fighting, but the fact that he's coming back, I mean, of course, it's gonna be a little bit of concern there, but obviously, he's going in there like, you know what, I'm healthy enough to do this fight, and I got a top 5 opponent in Wonderboy, who is one of the elite strikers in that 170 division, plus in the UFC. So, I mean. Geoff Neal, I'm curious to see how he has developed, especially after he pretty much pounced on Mike Perry like there was no tomorrow. Legit watched him.
I was so happy to see that.
That's Serge's boy. I don't know if you know.
But yeah, man.
Watching him whoop Mike Perry's ass. I watched that fight over and over again just to make myself have a bad day. I put that fight on.
Yeah, but yeah, man, it's gonna be a tough test. Wonder Boy is definitely still, one of the elites, besides getting KO'd by Pettis, but the way he dismantled Vicente Luque shows he still has it too at the age 37. So definitely gonna be a striking match. I can't wait to see.
Nick, is Thompson become the gatekeeper of the welterweight division, or can he still fight for a title?
I think it all depends on what's going to happen this weekend. Because I mean, when you look at the names above him, yeah, I guess he is the gatekeeper, and then I think that's exactly why they set this fight up. They want to see what Geoff is all about, and they want to see if Wonderboy still got it. So everything's contingent upon the result, but yeah, I would say so. I think he definitely is the gatekeeper because like I said, he's just right below those guys. And then, you're not going to set up Geoff with a Masvidal, with a Leon Edwards, or the Gilbert Burns, Kobe Covington, like you're not going to, or Newsman, or Snoozman, as I like to say. But yeah, he's definitely, in my opinion, the gatekeeper of this division.
Serge, you want to chime in?
Oh man, I mean, really, it sucks to say. When you first hear Wonderboy as the gatekeeper, it almost hurts. You're like, ooh, no,
it's almost blasphemous, right?
Yeah, but when you really think about it, I mean, look, Wonderboy he's not a boy anymore. He's every bit of like damn near 40 years old. It's like Wonder Man. You know what I'm saying? Like he's out here. So he's at the point in his career that can he really win a title? He's not going to beat any of these big grappler heavy guys. So yeah, he is kind of the gatekeeper. I mean, he's one of those guys. He's that, like we talk about Derek Brunson at 85. He's that litmus test. If you can get past Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, you can compete for a title. It's the exact same thing with Derek Brunson. It's the exact same way that Dana White treats RDA as well. It's like, if you can get past this guy, you deserve a shot. And that's what we probably are starting to see at this point in time.
Oh, you guys know what time it is. You know what I need. You know what I need. I need those predictions, baby. Let me get them. Aldrich, I will start with you. Who you got, Stephen Thompson or Geoff Neal?
I'm going to go with Wonderboy.
Wonderboy. Okay. Serge, who you got?
Oh, man, I'm going with the boy, the up-and-comer. I'm going with the hands of stone, Geoff Neal. Let's go, baby.
Nick, who you got?
I got Geoff as well. I'm going to go ride with Serge on this one.
Yes, sir.
I am going to ride with Wonder Man. Taking Geoff Neal out. It's gonna be too hard of a striking match for him. Geoff Neal's not really a wrestler. Stephen Thompson's a very good counter striker. I think Stephen Thompson takes it. It's gonna be a war. It's gonna be a fun main event. Maybe not as fun as Hazmat and Leon Edwards would have been, but still gonna be a pretty good fight. But we got a barn burner of a fight. Woo, my God! Maybe this should have been the main event. I don't know. Chito Vera against Jose Aldo. My Lord,
that's crazy.
Serge, is this a big fight in a sense of Jose Aldo's career? He either goes down from here or up, because he hasn't won a fight at 135 yet. He's 0-2.
It is a crossroads fight. It really is. And again, I hate to say it when we really think about these guys that we all kind of grew up with. We love watching these guys. Jose Aldo is a legend. He's the greatest featherweight, not named Max Holloway, of all time. And when you actually see what he's done at 135, he's been extremely competitive, but he hasn't been able to get these wins. Marlon Vera is one of those guys that prime Aldo should run through him. This shouldn't even be a close matchup, but we're going to see a lot. If he can't just run through him, Yeah, we're seeing the back end of Jose Aldo's career, and then we'll also see essentially the end of this opportunity at a title shot. Because if you can't get past Marlon Vera, you're not getting past any of those monsters at 35.
Nick, does Chito Vera maybe get a title shot after this? Because Jose Aldo recently fought for a title shot against Peter Yan. Does this guarantee Chito Vera a title shot?
I don't think it necessarily guarantees, but it definitely will add some of.
If they do my boy Aldo dirty, I'll be sure. Aljo dirty, I'll be so pissed. Aljo deserves better. Aljo deserves so much better.
Yeah, no. I don't think that this necessarily gets him a title shot. I think that he's feeling good, obviously, from his last match against. Jesus Christ, what's Sideshow Bob's name again? O'Malley.
Sideshow Bob.
What's it called? After O'Malley. But I mean, I think that he has to be careful here because even though I felt that he deservingly won that fight and he did a good job, and I think that he's going to definitely continue being successful, you still have to write off the fact that they had to sort of finish the fight off early and that it ended with an injury. So yes, continue having that confidence in yourself, that immigrant mentality, as he likes to say. It's definitely an important mentality to have. But yeah, anyways, to go back to your question, I don't think this necessarily automatically puts him in a title contention. I mean, it's Jose Aldo from before, absolutely, but Jose Aldo, as we've seen lately, he hasn't been himself.
Aldrich, if Jose Aldo takes this loss, do you think the UFC would cut him?
Most definitely, yeah. I mean, dude, he's done his thing. He was the king of 145.
By the way. He's only 33 years old, I think.
33, but that's a lot of tread going on.
A lot of tread.
He's 33, but with a lot of mileage.
Yeah, he does. Like from the WEC days, transitioned over to the UFC. You mean you've been that rating 145? Like Sir said, like he came at 135, had some amazing fights. You know, my opinion, I think he beat Marlon Moraes in that fight. That's just my opinion. I thought he did.
Yeah.
Got decimated against Peter Yan, and if he loses this fight against upcomer, I mean, I feel like he should win. But if he does, I feel like he is going to be a part of that 60 cuts.
Because he's expensive too.
He's expensive. He's very expensive. Yeah. Guys, you know what I need? I need some predictions. Nick, what you got, baby?
I'm going with Chito.
Aldrich, what you got?
I gotta go with Aldo.
Ooh.
Gotta go with Aldo. Yep, I'm going Aldo.
Serge, talk to me.
Oh man, dude. Like, I'm gonna go with Aldo, okay? Look, the reason I'm going Aldo, yes, I'm going with my heart, and I have to believe that he has still shown me enough that he can still compete. And but I'll say this: if Chito can get past him, he shows me a lot, and it shows me a lot about Chito. But I'm gonna rock with Aldo this one.
The Chito show continues on Saturday against Jose Aldo. I think he dominates him pretty bad because Jose Aldo has not looked the way that he used to. He's slowing down for sure. These are kind of tougher guys for him to fight. Not to say that Jose Aldo is not tough, but Chito Vera has looked amazing in a lot of his fights. He's good everywhere from the ground to standing. He trains with Jason Perillo, and Jason Perillo for sure is going to give him a pretty good game plan when they get in there. So I'm going to ride with Chito. But man, this one, I don't know how much I can't be more excited to see these two guys go at it. Oh my God. I spelled his last name wrong. Michel Pereira, Chaos. My Lord, this is gonna be crazy. Aldrich, do we have fight of the night, or do we have a fight that we thought all this crazy shit was gonna happen, but they're just gonna stare at each other?
Oh, there's gonna be fight of the night. Somebody getting knocked the fuck out. I'm sorry to say this. Like somebody's getting knocked out, like hands down. This is definitely gonna be fight of the night. Michel Pereira, we know he's a showman. In his last fight, you saw he was more disciplined. He didn't go too much with the antics. So you see that he's maturing. Chaos Williams, I mean, get the name Chaos. Chaos is your birth name. So I mean, somebody getting knocked out. Fight of the night.
Nick, do you prefer to see more, them have just a regular, just very disciplined fight, or are you ready for some backflips?
Dude, I'm always ready for the spectacle, the entertainment. Give me all the circus. Give me all the twirls and the batons and the backflips and dude, like we all tune in. It's just like we all know the real reason people watch NASCAR. It's not to have people take left turns all day. It's because they want to see some crashes. All right, so that's exactly what I'm looking for this weekend.
Sir, do you think Chaos finishes Michel pretty fast because he's had only 51 seconds in the cage in his past 2 fights?
You know what? I actually do. and I do because the thing about it is Chaos, as chaotic as he is, he does throw good strikes. He throws straight punches. One thing we know about Michel Pereira is that, granted, his last time out, he looked so much better. He looked a little bit more technical. He looked like he took it a little bit more seriously. But he's somebody who's so willing to take risks. When you're that willing to take risks, you're going to leave yourself open to getting cracked. And the way that Chaos throws his punches from the weird angles that he throws them from, I think he can crack him. I really do. Now, granted, do I think it's more than a round? I do, but I think I don't see it going to the judges. I just put it that way.
That's gonna be a good one, guys. I need some predictions. Talk to me, Nick. What you got?
I think Pereira's gonna take this one.
Ooh, Aldrich, what do you say? What do you say?
Chaos Williams.
Chaos Williams. Sir, is the chaos coming or is Michelle flipping?
It's chaos. It's chaos.
It's
I just said it.
I need to hear it again.
I should have said Pereira, but yeah, just messed it all up.
I'm gonna ride with Chaos. I think he finishes him pretty fast. All that flipping and stuff is just not gonna work. Chaos has got a lot of power and a lot of discipline. So I'm gonna ride. I'm gonna ride with Chaos. Speaking of magic, Marlon Moraes, he's taking on Rob Font. Rob Font is ranked about 12. Marlon Moraes is number 3. Is he taking a big risk fighting against Rob Font and fighting this fast after he was KO'd by Mr. Sandhagen? Anybody can take this one.
I think it's a bad idea. I think it's a terrible idea for Marlon Moraes. Rob Font is not one to play with. He is good. And he is, I mean, that team, him and Kelvin Cater out there training together. I mean, the UFC just did a really dope little spot about their gym that's up right now. But they're going out there, they're whooping ass, they're taking names. I mean, Rob Font is somebody that, especially in terms of his striking, he takes advantage of situations. He's very, very technical with his hands. He moves his feet extremely well, and he has a real finishing instinct. So if Marlon Moraes isn't to his where he was, and one thing I've also noticed about Marlon Moraes is that I hate to say it like this, and I noticed this when he fought Henry Cejudo. When the goal gets tough, he can break. You can break him. Rob Font doesn't come across as somebody when the going gets tough, he's going to get broken. So if this becomes a dogfight, which it has all the ability to be a dogfight, I'm definitely going to go with Rob Font because he's a dog. And I hate to say it, Marlon's not.
Anybody else want to chime in on that?
Oh man, I agree with Serge. This is a dangerous fight for Moraes. Like, especially like he said, upcomer, like the New England Cartel, they called themselves. They come and making a statement, you know. Yeah, man. Rob Font is definitely not a guy to play with at all. I've seen his fights. Like he is a killer. And Moraes, I mean, you're not no slouch. I mean, you're coming off fighting for a title. You went against Aldo and you just got KO'd. If he loses this fight, this is going to traject his work and his stock down like big time.
He might be one of those 60 dudes also, to be honest with you, because he's probably another expensive dude.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Nick?
Yeah. Well, the question is he taking a risk? The question that I have is, does he have a choice? I mean, if he doesn't get back in the game, he becomes irrelevant. Now, yeah, it's an extreme risk, but I think his back's against the wall here. You know, I think he knows what's at stake. That, you know, and especially with all these cuts coming up and everything, and if you can't, because sometimes it's not even about your record. If you can't bring in viewers, I mean, that's something else. So he's definitely going to have to win this fight, and I think that he absolutely had to take it too in order to stay relevant.
Yeah, speaking of risky and expensive, Anthony Pettis is taking a fight against Alex Morono. Not too common of a name to the casual fans. Alex Morono is pretty good. He can fight his ass off. He is a dog, as Sergio says. He is a big dog in there. Anthony took this fight on short notice. Anthony was talking about this week how he got a fight sports psychologist, which is I feel is very big and important for fighters, especially when they reach a time in their career where they feel like they plateaued and they can't get any better than they already are. He talked about how his mental has changed since he fought Donald Cerrone. Not to say he looked amazing against Cerrone, but he said that's when he started, and now he's been doing it for the past couple months, and he's in a different space in his mind. Yeah. Aldrich, do you think that Pettis took this fight to test that out?
I feel like he did, yes. We all love Anthony Pettis. I mean, he has a kick named after him. Legit, the Showtime kick. And, he competed with the best of 155. Obviously, that division is full of killers. So 170, he has looked good at his 170. He's he's 2-1 at 170 right now. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Only one loss. Was Nate Diaz at 155? No,
it was 170. He lost to Nate. And definitely he took this fight to establish that, I need to get my mental correct. So we should see, is Anthony Pettis still have that hunger? Because he's one of those guys in a way, it's kind of on the chopping block too. He's been through a lot of wars. So
I know fight on his contract.
So is he trying to make a statement to, hey, I could compete at 170, probably make a run for the title. Who knows? Am I just one of the people that exciting fights? I'm curious to see how he does against a killer and animal in Moreno. So,
Nick, Pettis, win or lose this fight, he stays at welterweight or he goes back to 155?
I think he stays, and I think the reason why he stays is because he's already accomplished so much before. Like, why, just might as well go with the change. There's nothing more to prove. You're already one of the greatest to ever do it. People have a high respect for your name. So, just keep trucking. It's not like I don't see him going for getting a title fight anymore, so fuck it, just roll with it.
Ooh, and I was going to ask Serge that. You see Anthony Pettis still being able to compete for a title at either weight class?
Damn. No, I don't. I don't. He's one of those guys, right? Like the Aldos. He's not old, but he's been doing this for a very long time. His era, he had an era, and he was one of the greatest lightweight champions that we've ever seen. He was on a fucking Wheaties box. You know what I mean? He had a Showtime kick, but that kick, that Showtime kick was like over a decade ago, people. Like that
literally 10 years ago. Literally, it was the anniversary of it 2 days ago.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy when you think about that. It was how long ago it was. He's entertained us. He's had wars. Think about the champions in both weight classes. Yes, even look at Oliveira. How would you put Anthony Pettis versus Oliveira now in comparison when they fought back in the day? You know what I'm saying?
True. Two different guys.
It would dust them, and you see the difference in guys' trajectory. And here's the thing: they're not even that much far apart in age. It's only a 2-year difference in age, and look at the differences in their careers.
Because Charles Oliveira definitely changed his career, and I think he did it in a mental way because that's how he was losing a lot of fights. He was tapping the strikes. So I feel like Pettis, this might be a really good thing for him mentally, and I think we see a better Pettis, and I think he goes back to 155. He has a big name. If he wants to re-enter like the top 10 or something like that, he can ask for that fight, and I'm sure Dana White will give that to him because they've always had an amazing relationship. So I think Pettis has a good fight on Saturday. I think he comes back pretty strong. I think he can finish Alex Moreno for sure. Not to say Alex Moreno is not good, but definitely a guy that Anthony Pettis should be. But we're definitely going to see where his career goes from there on Saturday, and that's his last fight on his contract. Yeah. A lot of guys have been getting released recently.
We talked about this is the last fight on his contract?
That's the last fight on his contract.
Dude, Sergio Pettis is in Bellator already.
He join his brother.
He has a new group. Now, that's another thing. Now, we talk about Anthony Pettis at lightweight and Bellator. He can definitely win a championship.
Yeah, and I think first round management, which Anthony Pettis is with, has a pretty good relationship with Bellator. They just signed a big signing right there. Yoel, Romero, anything you can do is possible. That you believe is with Bellator now. I watched an interview with him and Ariel Helwani. My God, the way that happened. So apparently he got offered 3 different fights. Uriah Hall at middleweight, of course. One other person at middleweight. I forgot who the other person was. And then he got offered one person at 205. And he said no to all 3. He said, nah, I want to fight for a title. at light heavyweight. UFC just like, nope. So he kind of treaded along, and they ended up releasing him. You think this is a big signing for Bellator, or is they're kind of just signing somebody who's too old and doesn't have that much time on him? Anybody can answer this one.
I think it's a great signing. I mean, Yoel Romero is still top 3, middleweights in the world still. I don't care what his record has looked like his last 5 fights. We all know what he has done. We all know he beat Rob Whittaker. We all know these things. You know what I'm saying? We've seen him.
For sure.
Absolutely. He definitely won the second. The first fight is debatable. The second fight, he went that. Dude, he dropped Robert Whittaker 3 times in the 5th round. You lost, son. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's a loss. You know
he beat Costa too.
He definitely beat Costa.
Oh, definitely beat Costa. Yeah,
definitely beat Costa. So you were looking at this guy here who's going out here. He's still one of the best in the world. He's willing to fight at light heavyweight, but the UFC was trying to give him bums. The UFC tried to give him Derek Brunson. He's like, what does this do for me? I knocked him out before y'all knew who I was. So we forget about that. He knocked Derek Brunson out like his 2nd fight in the UFC. So he has that, and then they're trying to get him fight some scrubs at light heavyweight that don't make any sense. He has to fight somebody top 3 or top 3. That's the only. And the UFC wasn't willing to give it to him, probably because he's expensive as he is. And I hate to say it, that's exactly what it is. He was expensive. One got away, and let's just keep it a bean. At this present moment in time, I'm gonna say it. I don't care what anybody says. 205 light heavyweight. Bellator greater than the UFC.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that. That. Hold that coming. Hold it. We're gonna talk about that.
I'll hold it.
Dick, 185, 205, and heavyweight. That's what Makikawa said that Yoel Romero was gonna fight in Bellator. You think that actually happens?
I mean, I don't see why not. The guy is fit as a fiddle. I mean, and he's got an incredible discipline, and he could still perform even over 40. I was shocked to kind of see UFC let him walk away, but I mean, sometimes money is, the driving factor behind these things. And like he says, the people pay, and Bellator was probably willing to pay more and also get him some better competition than what UFC was prepared to give him.
Aldrich, do you see him fighting Anthony Johnson right off the bat, or maybe Bellator does like one of their, since they have a lot of 205 pounders now, Bellator does more of a maybe tournament with these guys?
Well, they did mention something about a 205 tournament. I mean, they do have a new champion, Nemkov. Vadim Nemkov.
Killer.
Yeah, I actually know his older brother, so he's pretty cool. Him and Johnson, if you want to kick off a Bellator card beginning of the year, that's a fight to make, of course. Rumble Johnson and Yoel, I see you soon, boy, Romero. I mean, why not? I mean, that'd be a fight to make.
Build to that. Come on, you build to that. Don't give it to me right away, man. You give me a little foreplay first.
I was gonna say,
you know what I'm saying? Tease me a little bit. Come on.
Like Serge said at the end of his statement there, Nick, do you think Bellator now has a better light heavyweight division than the UFC? And I have to backtrack a little bit because about 3 shows ago, I was just like, when Corey Anderson signed with Bellator, I'm like, their 205 division is okay. They got like 2 people now. Look at it now. So do you think they have a better
you gotta feel bad for Corey Anderson, don't you?
I do. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to agree with that. I mean, it's definitely not for UFC. It's definitely not a division that people are jumping out off their seats to go see. There's not really a lot that they can offer there. So Bellator did a great job in bringing these guys in and really turning people's heads. And yeah, I think that you do got to go with. I mean, I know the foreplay is nice, but I mean, if Bellator wants to get their nut, I guess they just got to come out with this fight in the first place.
Sir, you were talking about it at the end of your statement. Go ahead and continue.
It's not even close. Bellator definitely has it. The UFC in their top 5 at 205 right now, it's like a 57-year-old man. And not only do you have a 57-year-old man, you have 3 names that I've never even heard of, and I'm balls deep in fights. So you think about that. some people can give us, yes, we have Ratchik, who is very, very good. Dom Reyes is very, very good. You know what I'm saying? Jan Blachowicz, the champion, is very, very good.
Anthony Johnson. I mean, not Anthony Johnson. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. But none of us could look at each other right now and honestly say that the champion is better than a prime Rumble Johnson. We can't say, we're not going to say that. None of us will sit there and actually say that we truly believe that the Jan Blachowicz can beat Rumble. Jan Blachowicz is not better than Rumble. Jan Blachowicz is not better than Yoel Romero, for that matter. So when you look at it, that Bellator, I mean, Jan Blachowicz, you know who Jan Blachowicz is better than? Corey Anderson.
Corey Anderson, look, he's in Bellator. I feel bad for Corey Anderson big time.
I feel the worst for Corey Anderson.
I think he thought, you know what? I can go beat any of those guys over there. I'm going to be the champ. No, bro, you got some guys to go through. You got Phil Davis, Lyoto Machida, Nev Cobb, now Anthony Johnson, Yoel Romero.
Listen to those names. And here's the thing. Even in terms of, let's just say they're better. Even in terms of business, you can sell those. Those are names we know. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. They're all still competitive enough. It's not like we're watching washed guys. Phil Davis is not washed. He looks good still. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're looking at these dudes. Lyoto Machida, as old as he is, still is competitive. And then we can't forget, Gegard Mousasi still fights at 205.
Can still go up.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, 205 light heavyweight in Bellator is hands down. I would love to see, like you guys were talking about, a tournament. They can do a tournament right now with that, and then they can sell the fuck out of it. If they did that at the beginning of 2021, said, hey guys, check this out. We're doing this badass fucking tournament with all these crazy fucking names, and check it out. The belt is on the line every goddamn time. Dude, you can sell that for the MMA community, and that would sell. Think about it. It'll be like the Strikeforce Heavyweight Grand Prix. That was huge.
Yeah, Scott Coker is definitely doing his thing, and he has a lot of good relationship with these guys from when he was in Strikeforce. People forget about that as well. If I was Gegard Mousasi, I'm good. I'm not going to 205. I don't want nothing to do with Anthony Johnson.
No parts of none of them.
I don't want no parts of it. I'm staying where I am. If I'm Gegard, I'll go down to 170. If anything, I'll go mess with them. You already beat the champ. You might as well go get his belt. So that'd be a good idea for him. Last question for you guys. Anthony Johnson, do you think he talked about why he joined Bellator, and he said it's more a business decision because, you know, you can have sponsorships and all that. You know, he's in the cannabis business. Do you think it's that, or was it a USADA issue? Nick, I'll start with you.
We already said it. We already said that it was a bit suspect the last time that we spoke about it. I think that, I mean, yes, I think it goes hand in hand. More money and sponsorships outside of your typical, you know, salary contract with the promotion. But yeah, maybe the USADA as well. I mean, I think, you know, when you're fighting at an older age, you're going to need some extra help. I don't think that he needs it, but who knows? I'm not going to even assume that he's doing anything out of the ordinary. But I mean, if he is, then fuck it. He's got an easier route now.
Aldrich, do you think that there was a reason he didn't enter the pool? Because he never entered the pool with the UFC, and he kind of kept it that on the low until recently.
I feel like USADA is tricky, man. I mean, USADA don't have the best rep. I mean, you out here banging on people's door while they're having sex in their living room. Shout out to Yancy Medeiros, by the way. But yeah, I feel like with USADA, I feel like they were delaying it because Rumble took enough time off and he wants to get in there right away. So, of course, 6 months testing pool, got to do a lot of testing, and he's like, you just want to fight. So I feel like, you know what, business-wise, let me go to Bellator. I can get something right away and not have to go through mad protocols. Because as much protocols bring structure, they are annoying at times. And USADA, yeah, that testing pool looks freaking annoying. Not going to lie to you.
Serge?
I think it was business. I truly believe it's strictly business. He's a businessman. We've seen what he's done literally ever since he's left the UFC. And what he's done, dude, I'm literally have somebody delivering stuff right now, and they're ringing on my doorbell. One more time, I'm gonna have to run real quick. But what I say, I think it's give me a second, guys.
Go ahead, sir. Do your thing.
Do your thing.
But yeah, guys, we'll end it on that note. I think it's half and half, but there's a reason he didn't end it that USADA pool. for whatever reason it is. I'm not going to speculate too much.
I mean, you saw Dana's interview as well. I mean, he practically was giving that Marshawn Lynch treatment. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Like every time people were asking about it, he just looked the other way. I'm like, I don't know. Ask him. I don't know. Why don't you ask him? You know, like I think that says a lot too. Not saying that it proves anything, but it says a lot.
For sure. Guys, I appreciate you. Of course, Aldrich, thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate you, man. Everybody that's watching, we got a great freaking card this Saturday. We're gonna definitely do an award show next weekend for Fights of the Year, Fight of the Year, a bunch of stuff. It's gonna be fun. The merch is on there, my highlights on my page. Please make those orders by tomorrow. I'd be great.
Those are dope.
Serge, of course, thank you so much for coming through.
Sorry about that having to run.
Don't worry about it. We're all good. We live real lives here, man. Sometimes we need a little delivery, some tangs. If you guys have anything to say before we go, floor is yours.
Well, thank you guys as always for having me on the show, man. I love it. I say it time and time again, man. I love what you guys are doing. The merch is fucking fire. Keep up the dope interviews, man. What you're doing, MMA Island, is amazing. Aldrich, brother, I love what you're doing as well, man. Your videos are fucking top notch, bro. Keep that shit cracking. Thank you guys as always for bringing me on, man. Thank you. Oh, and watch the fucking Fight podcast.
Likewise. Likewise, thank you guys for bringing me on the show. Love you guys are doing as well to all of you guys. You know, shout out to you guys. Check out the merch as well. MMA Island, also Surge the Fight Podcast. Check out their content. Thank you, and also check us out at the Fight Dialogue as well too. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Nick?
I just want to say thanks to both of you guys for being here, Aldrich and Serge. I mean, these are guys that are way smarter at this than I am. I love it when you guys are here. You make me sound a little bit more polished, and you guys get to pick up the slack that I bring. So definitely check them out, guys. The Fight Podcast, the Fight Dialogue. And this is what it's all about, just people helping people, being supportive of one another, helping each other get along. That's the way that society should be. So really appreciate the support from you guys, and know that you have our support as well.
That's right. Support and positivity. Support and positivity. I'm not calling out no names. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. We will be back next week. Thank you guys for tuning in. In the word of my man, Yoel Romero. See you soon. Boy.